right, if the defendant will please rise. It states, count one. We, the jury, find the defendant, Jose Ruiz, guilty of the offense of injury to a child as charged in count one of the indictment. Count two reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Jose Ruiz, guilty of the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon as charged in count two of the indictment. Count three reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Jose Ruiz, guilty of the offense of injury to a child as charged in count three of the indictment. Count four reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Jose Ruiz, guilty of the offense of injury to a child as charged in count four of the indictment. Count five reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Jose Ruiz, guilty of the offense of injury to a child as charged in count five of the indictment. Count six reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Jose Ruiz, guilty of the offense of injury to a child as charged in count six of the indictment. Count seven reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Jose Ruiz, guilty of the offense of injury to a child as charged in count seven of the indictment. Count eight reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Jose Ruiz, guilty of the offense of injury to a child as charged in count eight of the indictment. You may be seated. Would anyone wish to have the juror hold?
Okay. A quick verdict from that jury today. They deliberated for about 45 minutes. Was he found guilty on all counts, and did he give any kind of reaction in the courtroom?
Yeah, Steve, there was no reaction from Ruiz. As those verdicts were read, it was 8 counts, guilty on all counts, 7 counts of injury to a child and 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Now, before those verdicts were read, the jury went out for deliberations. Each side was given one last time to make their case. The defense saying that Ruiz wasn't the cause of Mercedes' death, and they put the blame on her mother, Katrina Mendoza, CPS and SAPD, but the state saying they weren't on trial. And Ruiz was. They told the jury there was more than enough evidence to prove Ruiz was guilty.
Right. All right. We're now starting with the second phase of the trial. State, do you have any opening statements?
Thank you for your verdict. I know it was a hard thing to look through. And like I said in my closing, it's unfortunate that you really only heard people that heard or saw Mercedes from the day she died. In punishment, you will hear from Uncle Rodney, and you'll hear how Jordan's doing, and you'll hear what an impact this has had on Jordan and family.
All right, defense, any opening?
Yes, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm Lorraine Ephraim. I'm one of Jose's attorneys. You have heard chapter 2 of his story. Now I'm going to give you chapter 1 of his story. And I just ask that you stay with me, stay with us as you hear part 1 of Jose Ruiz's life. Thank you.
All right, state, call your first witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Rodney Edwards.
All right, if you raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can have a seat and lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up for members of the jury and the court reporter. Please state your name for the record.
Rodney Ruiz.
All right, state.
All right, good afternoon, Rodney. How were you related to Mercedes Lozoya?
I am married to Katrina's adopted sister, and Alec Edwards is my wife. So Katrina used to stay with us on and off with the kids.
Now, how long had you known Mercedes?
Pretty much ever since she was born. She's been staying with us on and off. I saw her grow up, took care of her, bought her stuff, treated her pretty much like she was my own.
Okay. Did you know Jordan?
Correct, same as well.
Okay.
It was pretty much two peas in the pods. It made me mad, but then it also made me smile at the same time. So it's a child life that I was looking forward to, seeing them grow.
Okay. Now, how close were you to Mercedes?
Pretty close. If she ever needed anything, she knew to come to me and her and my wife, because we'll pretty much give it to her So, like I said, she's like real close, pretty much like one of my daughters. I'll give her anything, try to bend over backwards to make her happy, make her smile. I hate to see her sad.
Back in 2022, where were you living?
With my father, still at the same location of the Caspian Point.
Okay. And who else was living in the home?
My wife, Katrina, and the 2 kids, and my wife's 2 brothers, and my father-in-law.
How long had the living situation been that way, where everyone was under the same roof?
It's been on and off. Katrina would leave with her boyfriends, and sometimes move in with her boyfriends, and then move back in when she felt on, I guess, when they weren't working it out or they broke up. But she always knew she could come back home, especially with the kids. We make sure we take care of the kids. They had their own, I guess, bedroom to share with their mom. They had their pretty much own stuff. They played with their brother-in-laws, which is brother-in-laws. So, I mean, it was just basically a family life. You know, we went out on weekends, go out to flea market, stuff like that, because they love going to flea market with little kids and stuff like that. Get my pizza, just having a fun time, family time.
Okay. What other children were in the household?
There's only Katrina, Mercedes, and the only 2 children was, I guess you could say, her brothers. They're like the 8 and 10 now.
Rodney, would Mercedes sometimes steal your phone?
More than sometimes, that's for sure. She loved taking pictures of herself. I'm pretty sure she was going to think she was going to be a model. She was a fan of the camera. I guarantee you that. She just loves being herself. She's very, very outspoken too, very talkative.
Yeah. How would you describe her personality?
Fun, very questionable, like I said, loving, always happy, playful. She wants to know more than she's supposed to as a kid, put it like that. And I kept on telling her, be a kid. It's not going to last long. You'll be an adult soon. Just be a kid and have fun. She's always talking, always joking around, has a great, great humor, and just love life.
Did Katrina ever mention giving up her rights to Mercedes?
A couple of times to my wife. I knew it was a play that she was just playing along. She would never do it, but my wife always thought she would. So that's why we always did as much as we can. Pretty much for Katrina as well, because if we help Katrina, we're helping out the kids as well. So, yes.
And so did you and your wife want to adopt Mercedes?
100%. My wife wanted to. I don't know, but I don't think my wife could get pregnant. I've been trying. So, you know, that was the next best thing. I mean, she loved us. We loved her. We gave her anything. She's pretty much our second kid anyways. So.
Okay. Between Jordan and Mercedes, were you closer to one of them than the other?
Mercedes. Jordan's much more closer to her mom. Mercedes, she's the...
May I approach the witness?
Yes.
What are those?
These are pictures of Mercedes.
Now, let's see. 112 and 113. Did you take those pictures?
She was the camera lady. She took pictures of me and her. I did take a picture of this one. 115, I think my wife took a picture of this one. I did take a picture of this one.
And who's in the picture with her in one?
Her sister, Jordan. They're just sitting on the bench, smiling, loving life,
And
letting the wind blow through their hairs.
I see she's got a hand.
Oh, hands on the hips.
In States Exhibit 115, how are her hands positioned?
Her hands are positioned on the hips, like she's ready to tell somebody. You can't tell her nothing. 117, she took a picture of herself, sticking her tongue out with a laugh.
Is that how you remember her when she was 5 years old?
Very, very much, yes.
Do you know how old she was there?
Can't tell you how old. I know we went camping though because of the background. And,
Did you go camping a lot with her?
we went camping quite a lot. I love going camping. I try to go at least once a quarter.
Rodney, when did you find out that Mercedes passed?
I think it was 2 or 3 days after it happened. I'm not for sure. We got told by her ex-boyfriend who came to the door because he was real nice.
Two hearsay.
All right, that'll be sustained. Oh, you can't answer. All right, ask your next question.
Who told you that Mercedes had passed?
I don't know his name, but it's Katrina's ex before subject at hand.
It was the boyfriend before Jose.
Correct.
Had you ever met Jose Ruiz?
Personally, not really. I have met him though, but not met. Only reason I met him, he was in the car.
Your Honor, object to non-responsive.
All right, that'll be sustained.
Okay. Did you know that Mercedes had gone to live with Jose Ruiz in his apartment?
Yes,
Did you have any concerns?
yes. I don't always
Object
have
to
concerns.
relevance.
What is the relevancy of this?
It goes to the increasing, volatility and emotional state of Mercedes leading up to when they moved into Jose's.
All right, then that's the question that needs to be asked. Your objection is sustained.
From mid 2021 until her death in February of 2022, did Mercedes, well, Katrina, Mercedes, and Jordan, did they often go and stay with Jose Ruiz?
Yes, on and off.
And was there a time when you felt that Mercedes did not like going to Jose Ruiz's apartment?
I can see a difference from when she comes to when she has to go back. If she comes for a couple of days to then she has to go back over his house. You can just tell by the emotions in the face.
Okay, can you elaborate on that a little bit? What is different from
When she got to the house, which I'll say home, she was happy to be back with me, my wife, her brothers, just playing around, stuff like that. But when it was time for her to go back over, her mom, her sister, she wasn't so much happy. She wanted to make sure that she was always with Jordan. But that was it, because she wasn't very happy and that she wasn't going to be able to do what she wanted to do, which is be a kid.
How did her death impact you?
Your Honor, I would object to victim impact statement.
All right, that'll be sustained. All right,
I have no questions, Your Honor.
all right,
I'm gonna make you speak up, please.
I have no questions, sir.
all right. You may step down. Thank you. Call your next witness.
State calls Lupe Marie.
If you raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so that members of the jury and the court reporter can hear. If you'll state your name for the record.
My name is Lupe Flores Morin.
All right, state.
Thank you, Judge. May I call you Lupe?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Lupe, how do you know Mercedes Lozoya?
I know Mercedes Lozoya because she's my great granddaughter,
On her maternal or paternal side?
paternal.
Have you met Mercedes Lozoya when she was alive?
I met her when she was around 2 years old, and then no contact until October prior to the incident.
So only a couple times.
Yes,
And tell me, do you have personal knowledge of where Jordan Lozoya is currently?
yes, Jordan is living with me. I have adopted Jordan.
And you have, the adoption is finalized, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, it is final.
Did Jordan's name change in that adoption?
Yes, it did. It changed to my name.
And specifically, did any other part of her name change?
Yes, when we asked her if she wanted to choose a second name, she chose her sister Victoria because she wanted to have that special name in her heart and in her mind.
Okay, you said,
So we named her Jordan Victoria Torres.
and you said her sister Victoria. Did she have another sister?
No, Mercedes' name, I believe, was Mercedes Victoria Lozoya, so she wanted to keep the Victoria.
Okay.
Yes. She also calls her teddy bear.
Your Honor, object to non-responsive.
All right, sustained.
I'll ask another question. How has this affected Jordan, losing her sister?
Very much. At first, when she came to the house, she would cry a lot. She would mention that she missed her sissy. She cared.
I would object to victim impact and narrative.
All right, that will be overruled. Your objection to narrative will be sustained.
Does she have anything that she uses to remember her sister by?
Yes, she has a little teddy bear that she carries with her and will not sleep without that. She calls her bear Sissy.
Has Jordan had any negative impacts from losing her sister Mercedes?
Yes, a lot of negative impact, a lot of fears, not trusting to be around men by herself. She couldn't sleep by herself for a long period of time. She did not want to go into the bathroom by herself, not want to shower by herself.
Your Honor, I object to relevance and non-responsive and narrative.
All right, that'll be overruled.
Were there any other negative impacts, Jordan, that affected Jordan?
There's a lot of things that have impacted Jordan. All I can say is that she misses her sister very much.
What is Jordan's favorite color?
Her favorite color was, I believe it was blue, but she chose to be purple now because it was her sister's favorite color.
Pass the witness.
No questions, Judge.
All right, thank you. You may step down. All right, you're still under oath.
Judge.
And if you'll restate your name for the record, please.
My name is Detective Justin Knox.
Good afternoon again, Detective Knox.
Good afternoon.
Your Honor, at this time, I would reoffer all of the evidence from guilt innocence for this phase of the trial, Your Honor.
Your Honor, and again, re-urging prior objections and asking that the objections previously made be considered running objections here.
All right, that is noted for the record.
I object and I'm being overruled. Right?
Yes,
Your Honor, may I approach?
yes.
These were what we previously were going through, guilt innocence. Now, there were a number of items that we did not get to in previously, correct?
Correct.
One item in particular is a photo. If you refer to the photos that were taken on January 31st, 2022.
All right, next question.
Yes. Okay, then you got it. So I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 81 was previously discussed. And it's also, I believe, State's Exhibit, here we go, 107. Do you see State's Exhibit, this image in there?
Yes.
And what was the timestamp for this one?
January 31st, 2022 at 7:28 a.m.
And then we had State's Exhibit 81, which was not introduced, but was described in detail as Ms. Lozoya in a crucifix position. What was the timestamp for that one?
That is January 31st, 2022 at 7:27 a.m.
Was there another photo taken directly after that one?
Yes, on 1/31/2022 at 7:29 a.m.
So the one right before it, State's Exhibit 81, what was the timestamp for that one? Sorry.
It's 1/31/2022 at 7:27 a.m.
7:27 a.m. And then this new picture that we're discussing,
It's at 7:29 a.m.
so 2 minutes later.
Yes.
What does that image appear to show?
It's a close-up of a naked female showing her vagina.
Are there any other photos after that on that day?
Without looking at all the photos, I couldn't tell you.
Okay, but there's nothing in the immediate lineup. Now I'm going to show you States Exhibits 118 and 119. Now you had a chance to review the full download of this stuff.
Yes,
States 118 and 119, are these pictures consistent with the pictures in his phone?
yes.
Your Honor, I would offer States Exhibit 118 and 119.
Counsel, you can move around to see the images.
Your Honor, I re-urge my objections with regard to these calls.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
I have no questions, Your Honor.
On the next witness. The state rests, Your Honor. Defense.
Your Honor, may we have a 5-minute break?
Ladies and all right, so we're going to take, I'll say a 10-minute break, so I'll have y'all back to at 5.
So next up is the punishment phase. Ruiz is facing up to life in prison. That punishment phase already underway. The state has put up 3 witnesses. Now, as far as when those deliberations for sentencing, that could take place tomorrow morning. Make sure